So, mothers and others, we're down to our last candidate for tonight that we are going to interview. And I'm so excited to introduce you to Shekhar Sinha. And he is a candidate running for Texas House District 121. He's running against Republican incumbent Steve Allison. And a little bit, before we started this whole webinar tonight, uh, Shaker said the I was trying to figure out, like, make sure I pronounced his name correctly because you're trying to be, considerate and polite. And he said, it's like shaker, it's like mover and a shaker. And I just thought that was so perfect and so fun. So I'm so excited to introduce you to the mover and the shaker who's running for Texas House District 121. So Shaker, welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running for office.
Thank you, Nancy, for having me here and for the great work that you and your entire team does um, through Mothers Against Greg Abbott and Mothers for Democracy. It's very inspiring to see the various ads and the various posts from all the people that you have motivated. So I'm Shekhar Sinha, and as you mentioned, I'm running for as a Democrat for state representative for House District 121. I'm an immigrant from India, and I came in the mid-80s as a graduate teaching assistant. And I graduated 3 years later, dual master's in math and computer science from Penn State. Subsequently, I worked in the IT industry for nearly 3 decades and retired a year and a half ago. I have been volunteering for Democrats since then, and in fact, I've been volunteering for Democrat candidates for the 2020 elections and the subsequent elections as well. And I've also been serving as a precinct coordinator for Democrats for my precinct, and have been acting as a precinct chair in the absence of one. So I decided to run for this office primarily because democracy itself is at stake in these elections, as you know. And also for the following reasons. The future of our public schools, and over 90% of Texas children that attend them, is at stake, with the governor pushing for vouchers, which I oppose, as they will benefit private schools at the expense of public schools. Number two, women's reproductive rights need to be protected by codifying Roe v. Wade, period. Number three, Texas has the highest percentage of residents without health insurance, yet Republicans have opposed expanding Medicaid, even though federal government will bear bulk of the cost. I will oppose that. I will support expanding Medicaid and such programs. Number four, gun violence is the leading cause of death of children in the United States. I support implementing common sense gun safety reforms to protect our children. Our public universities need to be affordable, yet in the 15 years since 2003, their tuition have doubled. And I will support opposing that trend and reducing those fees. I support making voting easier, ending gerrymandering, and implementing campaign finance reforms. I trust the scientists on climate change, and I will support transitioning from fossil fuels to clean energy by 2050 to protect our planet and to protect it for our future generations. So those are the reasons why I want to run in this district, to make it better for all our residents and citizens, as well as make it better for Texas.
So, what do you feel are the top three issues for your district?
So the topmost issue that I feel is about protecting our children. Protecting our children because firearm injuries are the #1 cause of death of our children in the United States. And no other developed countries has this problem. it is wrong for Republicans to say that it's a problem with it's a mental disease problem, and it needs to be fixed by uh, focusing our attention on curing mental disease. I mean, that may be part of the problem, but the bulk of the problem is that there is access to firearms very easily available. I mean, for smoking a cigarette, you got to be 21, but you can buy a AR-47 at 18 when you are not fully mature. So there's definitely a need for common sense gun safety reforms, and President Biden has proposed them. It makes a lot of sense, and we need to implement them. So that's number one. The number two is protecting our women and their reproductive rights. As you saw in the recent Kate Cox case, the district judge in Austin ruled in her favor that it's a medically necessary abortion and she can get it. It was unfortunate that she had to go to court, to get the medical care that she needs. But even after the district judge passed that order, it was very surprising that Ken Paxton, our Attorney General, he wrote letters to the three leading hospitals in Houston that there'll be civil and criminal liabilities if they follow the judge's order because she doesn't know the law. I mean, that was baffling. And it's surprising that even the Supreme Court of Texas, didn't say anything about that kind of behavior. I mean, it was totally unconscionable. And now Kate Cox could afford the abortion, and that was medically necessary for her, and she could go to another state to get it. But there are women who cannot afford it, and Texas Tribune had an article about a woman, I think in Dallas area, who had to go through the term with her pregnancy, which was not viable. So that's being very cruel to our women, and we need to protect our women by codifying Roe v. Wade. So that's number two. And number three is again protecting the future of our children. So as I mentioned, 90% of our Texas kids are in public schools. And what the governor is pushing for vouchers will take funds away from our public schools and give it to private schools. And as it is, Texas is it dropped down to number 35 amongst the 50 states from number 21 last year in education. And its spending per pupil is one of the least in the country. And our teachers in public schools in Texas, their compensation lags the national average when Texas should be leading the nation, not lagging. Our two children grew up in Austin, and they went to schools that were managed by Austin Independent School District, right from kindergarten to, right from elementary school to middle school to high school. And we are very grateful to the teachers and staff of AISD for imparting great education to them. One of them subsequently went to Harvard, and the other went to MIT, and they both had offers of admission from both the schools. They're both successful physicians today, and good public schools launched their American dreams, and all the Texas children deserve that opportunity of having good public school education and having good public school colleges, because that really can give them the opportunity to compete.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Those are the top three priorities.
So, so tell us, where can we find you, and how best can we support you right now while you're running for office?
Well, so I have a website. It is sinhafortexas.com. I'm also on Facebook. Sinha for Texas. And there are opportunities for people who go to my website to make contributions if they can afford to make a contribution. No amount is too small or too large. The other thing that they can do is to volunteer, and of course, if they are in my constituency, in my district, then we need help in knocking doors, passing out campaign literature, in conveying my message to the voters in my district. And although Steve Allison has won this district 3 times, but and this is regarded as a red district, but President Biden lost it only by 2 points. So it is not a red district. And Steve Allison also, when the voting percentage goes higher, his margin of victory goes lower. So the key is to get a higher voter participation to flip this district. And that's where we need help. And of course, Nancy, you are doing a phenomenal job. I saw your ad about that you have created about this abortion issue, and it was very touching, and it drives the message very well. So,
Yes.
of course.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And thank you all for joining us here tonight. It's been a wonderful night. We got to meet 5 new candidates tonight. It was excellent. So thank you all so much for coming onto Mothers Against Greg Abbott, Mothers for Democracy, and having a conversation with us this evening. I'm wishing all of you the best on the campaign trail right now. And we can't wait till we get to celebrate with you guys sometime after Election Day. So thank you all. And thank you for joining us. And Mothers and Others, that was another fine evening of really great candidates tonight. And I hope you go out and tell your friends that we're doing these webinars. And you can also find the webinars on YouTube. They'll be up there in a couple days. They get edited and they'll be posted up on YouTube. So just be aware of that. Other really quick announcements while I have some few people here that are paying attention is that we have a anti-fascist book club that we're launching in January. We're also going to be doing anti-fascist training that we're going to be launching very soon, and doing weekly webinars on how to be an anti-fascist. Along with that is please follow Mothers Against Greg Abbott on all of our social medias. And so just do a handle and just look us all up at Mothers Against Greg Abbott. I have like little signs on each side where to donate and where to follow us. And so please, please, please support Mothers Against Greg Abbott when you're able to, because it really does matter. And we're doing really great work. And I'm so proud of the work we're doing. So thank you for spending the evening with us. And I look forward to seeing all of you on the campaign trail. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.